This is The Drive with Dale Lally and Matt Williamson on your 24/7 home of the black and gold. SNR, Steelers Nation Radio.
And welcome to The Drive. I am Dale Lally, and he is the Matt Williamson. And, Matt, it is a lovely Thursday.
Yeah, it really is.
After all the bad weather and yucky weather we had, although I got to say, I umpired a baseball game last night. It was a night game. It was the second of two games at my field in Washington. And so my game started at 8 o'clock. Mm-hmm. By the time that game was over, I felt bad for the kids who were out there.
A little chilly.
Who didn't have anything. I had a jacket that I put on as I was, umpiring. And there are kids out there that it's baseball.
Yeah.
You're not moving all the time.
No, you're standing there in right field in
chilly.
October, yeah. It's a little chilly, no sun to warm you up.
I wonder if it'll be like that on Sunday night.
I bet it'll get cold.
We're starting to get into October. We're in October. We're not starting to get there. We are in October, and that fall weather is starting to happen, and so it's starting to get a little chillier.
But it's supposed to be clear, and I don't think any rain's forecasted or anything.
I heard today there might be some rain in the forecast Sunday night.
Okay. Who's that help?
Steelers. The team that wants to run the football.
The grinders.
Against the team that can't run the football.
Absolutely. Yeah, the big personnel grinder, Darnell Washingtons of the world, Najee Harris's of the world, Cam Hayward's. Yep.
Yeah. So we'll see. I mean, we don't want any thunder and lightning. No. We don't want delays, but
no, that we do not.
If it's a little chilly, the team from Dallas could be
can't hurt football
weather,
weather, right?
Yeah. But it's definitely football weather at night now.
Yeah. It was a beautiful day here.
Oh, absolutely. So, Matt, as we typically do when the Steelers play a team that they don't see all that often, and the Steelers do not see the Dallas Cowboys all that often, it could change to a 2-year situation because of the new crossover games.
Oh, right.
But typically it's once every 4 years. Let's take a look at their roster.
Okay.
And this is their unofficial depth chart. At wide receiver, it's CeeDee Lamb. Jalen Tolbert. Brandon Cooks is out for this game. They got Kevontae Turpin, Ryan Flournoy, and Jalen Brooks. You take Brandon Cooks out of the equation.
Right. It gets pretty thin pretty quick.
Yeah.
Tolbert's been slow. I think he was a second-round pick. He was definitely a day 2 pick.
Out of South Alabama.
Yeah. He's been slow to adjust to the league. I mean, he hasn't done much, but this year he's starting to show glimpses at least as the 3. Now he's going to be a 2 on Sunday. I mean, Lamb's a 1 all day long.
Yeah.
I mean, in any team basically. But boy, that's thin. I think it's going to be the theme of this team.
For a team that throws the ball over 60% of the time.
Yeah. They do. And I think depth across the board when we go position by position is going to be
thin.
A little frustrating.
Yeah, it's pretty thin. This is what happens, though, when you're paying your quarterback, when you're paying the wide receiver big money.
Parsons is looming.
They're paying some of those guys on the offensive line are making some cash.
Yeah.
They've got some high-ticket items there.
Lawrence isn't cheap. He's out for this game, too.
Yeah.
Right.
The offensive line from left to right is Tyler Guyton, Tyler Smith, Cooper Beebe, Zach Martin, and Terrence Steele. Your backups, Asim Richards, T.J. Bass, Brock Hoffman, and Matt Waletzko.
Okay. Richards was somebody I kind of liked coming out of school as a late-round pick, North Carolina dude. Tackle, but he's undersized for tackle, guard.
Waletzko I liked some as well, but again,
he's probably your 6th guy.
He put some weight on.
Right.
I think he was South Dakota or North Dakota. One of the Dakotas.
Right. I don't remember either now that I think about it. So Beebe, what's weird is, they have 2 starters on the offensive line, which the Steelers have had some young guys on the O-line too.
Steelers will have 2 rookie starters this week.
Could have had 3 if the first-round pick, like their first-round pick, would have been available. But their 2 are switching positions.
Yeah.
Guyton goes from right at Oklahoma to left with the Cowboys. Beebe was a guard who'd played a little bit of tackle, but no center, but he's a real short-arm guy, so he's going to center. They've both been okay. I mean, they're not total flops. Beebe's been better of the 2. You've mentioned a few times, Guyton's that long basketball build type of guy. doesn't quite deal with power all that well yet. You know, I mean, one-on-one.
He looks
right
like a classic left tackle.
Yeah, exactly.
Who's, there to handle finesse guys, the speed rushers.
And Steele, I'll get to the guards in a minute, but the right tackle, he's one of the offensive linemen they've invested in and probably shouldn't have, to be honest with you. Like, Rob King referenced this when we were on it, and I noticed it as well. And Pro Football Focus grades don't mean everything. But of like all the tackles in the league last year, he was like second to last.
Yeah.
He's definitely not one of the top 10. I mean, even if they're off.
I think they've given up 4 sacks this season, which is good.
Yeah.
And he's given up 2 of them.
That makes all the sense in the world. And he gets Watt. I do think their guards are the best in the league. I mean, Zach Martin's been probably the best guard in the league for about a decade, give or take. He's going to moonwalk into the Hall of Fame. Might not be the dominant player he was on his best day, but he's still really good.
Is he really going to moonwalk into the Hall of Fame?
He might, if he wants. And then I really like Smith, too, who's just a nasty, could be a tackle, but is a dominant guard. I mean, he was real grabby and stuff as a rookie, but he's cleaned a lot of that up, and their guards are a real strength.
Yeah. When I look at the construction of that line, why wouldn't they take Tyler Smith and put him at right tackle?
Because he's such a good guard, but I thought that was
guards are easier to find.
Or leave Guyton at right tackle and put Smith at left tackle. Yeah. I mean, I know what you're saying or keep Tyron Smith and I don't know.
A lot of things they could have done.
There's a lot of things they could have done, and now they're relying on 2 rookies with little depth.
At tight end, it's Jake Ferguson, Luke Schoonmaker, Brevin Spann-Ford, and John Stevens. I mean, that's a good group.
It's a good group. Schoonmaker, I think, has a pretty bright future. I mean, he's maybe a starter in a year or two, not ahead of Ferguson. That's not what I'm applying.
Might be somewhere else.
Yeah, I mean, but he's that capable. Ferguson's vastly underrated. I mean, he's one of those guys I always poo-poo in fantasy, and then he gets 9 targets a game and is in a really good situation. He's a pretty good athlete. You mentioned today he's Barry Alvarez's grandkids. I mean, he's grown up in this sort of thing. I mean, would love him if he was a Steeler.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. The running backs.
Ugh. Is this the worst running back room in the room? Or
100%.
I'd say so. If we don't count Nick Chubb in Cleveland,
I'd still take Cleveland.
I'd still take Cleveland.
Yeah. Ezekiel Elliott, Rico Dowdell, Hunter Luepke, who's a fullback, and Deuce
He's
Vaughn.
playing a lot now.
Yeah.
If you noticed, I mean, they do a lot of different personnel formations. Like you'll see 0 back, like 0-1 personnel sometimes. You'll see 2 back a fair amount with Luepke. He ran the most routes of any of their runners last week, and he's a fullback. You know what I mean? That's not the way you draw it up. He's not exactly Kamara out
playing
there,
with the fullback, and you can't run the football.
No, right. And
they run a lot of 22 personnel.
They run 22. They run 0-2. They run a lot of different stuff.
And that might also be because they don't have any wide receiver depth.
As I say, is your third receiver great?
Yeah.
No.
Your 2 tight ends, like your top 2 tight ends, Ferguson and Schoonmaker are 2 weapons that they may want to get out there more often.
But they're using a fullback a lot.
Yeah.
I don't know what – I bet Dowdell's not good in protection. He hasn't been around a long time because he's the best back. Not that he's great, but Zeke is at least solid in protection. And I would think – on passing downs, I probably want Zeke to Dak's right, to help with steal, I would imagine. Unless you're going to put the fullback out there as the receiving back because he can block and
they're not going to make it Deuce Vaughn.
Right. I mean, you get run right over.
Yeah.
It's a terrible run.
Yeah. It's a very thin offense.
Mm-hmm.
Defensively, we thought that was...
Dak's immediate backup, by the way, is... it's not Lance.
Yeah. Cooper Rush.
Who's fine. I mean, that room's not bad. Lance is on the team, too.
On the defensive side of things, well, we know DeMarcus Lawrence is out. We know Micah Parsons is out.
But Sam Williams is also out. I mean, he would have been their 3, but he got hurt in the preseason. He's their Herbig. All of a sudden, there was a real strength going into camp.
So they probably bring up Carl Lawson again off the practice squad.
Yeah, he played last week.
But
he's not what he used to be at all.
Yeah,
right.
But behind those guys, behind Lawrence and Parsons, you're looking at rookie Marshawn Needland, who I liked, but
he's okay, right?
Yeah, Chauncey Golston.
Those are the guys who be out there.
Tyrus Wheat.
Yeah.
That doesn't scare me at all.
Especially from a pass rushing perspective. None of those guys are real twitchy edge bender types.
Even in run.
They're not.
I mean, what are they going to do?
Yeah.
Inside, you're looking at Mazzie Smith and Linval Joseph. They're both big bodies. And then on the other side, Oso Odighizuwa and Carlos Watkins.
Odighizuwa is the best player of the group. He's the 3-technique upfield guy. He can cause some problems.
But here's the thing, Matt. They've only got 4 300-pounders on their.
I know.
You can't stop the run.
That's what I was going to say is I don't know what circumstances it would take me to get out of 13 personnel or 12 if they're going to match in base. I want those big people out there.
No, wear them out.
So many snaps. Yep. And in the fourth quarter, the edge guys that are used to playing 10 snaps are going to be on snap number 60. Linval Joseph can't play that kind of snaps at his age. I mean, he's just an anchor in the middle. Mazzie Smith is not proven to do that either. Smith was a phenomenal athlete at Michigan, but he doesn't look like it on the field.
Yeah.
You know?
Better tester than he is as a football player.
Yeah.
We said that coming out. I mean,
right.
That's been typical of a lot of the Michigan guys is they didn't post big numbers at Michigan. They tested well.
Right.
And some of them have hit and some of them have missed.
And they'd love Joseph and Mazzie Smith to protect these off-the-ball linebackers because they're smaller run-and-hit guys, and they don't do that particularly well either.
Yeah, you're looking at the Marvin Overshawn, Eric Kendricks, Damone Clark. They also have Marist Liafu and Buddy Johnson.
It's not a bad room. I mean, I assume Buddy's now only a special teamer.
Yeah.
Liafu's played here and there, and I think he's decent. Overshown's fun. I mean, like, he flies around the field. He's a good athlete. He is not a take-on player at all.
He's 220 pounds.
Yeah, he's a run-and-hit type of dude. Clark has played a fair amount for them since his rookie year because he got drafted a couple rounds later than he should have because he came out injured. And Kendricks is just a quarterback. I mean, him and Zimmer, the defense coordinator, they're best buds from their Viking days. He gets everybody aligned.
It's not a dynamic inside linebacker group.
No, I would say Overshown's dynamic.
But much like the defensive tackles, it's like just some guys.
Great, right?
Just guys.
Right. No one's going to Pro Bowl there.
Yeah. At cornerback, you've got Trayvon Diggs, Kalen Carson, the rookie, and the nickel is Jordan Lewis. Andrew Booth backs it up. C.J. Goodwin, who was here for a while, worked at the Mel Blount Youth Home. He's from Wheeling.
Okay. Lewis has been a solid nickel, can play outside a little bit. Solid. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Diggs is the name. I don't know how he's played this year, but his history is he'll usually follow the one. Very aggressive, a lot of length. Good player. There's no question about that. But his name gets blown up a little bit because
he had 11 interceptions a couple years ago. There were people saying he should be the defensive player of the year.
Right.
He had over 100 targets against him.
Say people like throwing his way. Right, yeah.
Yeah, he had all those interceptions, and people still threw his way because he gave up a bunch of big plays, too.
He's the Marcus Peters of this generation, yeah.
So,
and how about safety?
The safeties, you're looking at Donovan Wilson and Malik Hooker, backed up by Marquise Bell and Juna Thomas. Or Juan Thomas. Wanye Thomas, I should say.
I should know this off the top of my head since it's Cowboy Week, but the former coordinator loved to play with 3 of them on the field. I don't think Zimmer does.
Yeah, that's not his thing.
Yeah, I don't think it's
Here's the thing,
much big nickel as
it hit me today as we were talking to Justin Fields after practice today that Fields has seen the Zimmer defense.
Oh, yeah, I guess so. Twice a year.
Yeah. So this is something like because somebody asked
3 years ago.
Yeah, somebody asked him a question about the Cowboys defense, and he goes, "Yeah, it looks like a typical Zimmer defense." I'm like, "Yeah, because he's seen this before."
Yeah, you'll see a lot of those linebackers mugging up the
double blitz.
Yeah, they mug up the A gaps and cause problems that way, and they can mess with your protection schemes. And Zimmer's not bashful; he's a hard nosed type guy. I mean, he'll come after you, and he's hard on his players. But they don't. The results aren't there so far this year, I guess, is one way of putting it.
I think one thing I would do to attack this defense a little bit, Matt, we've seen a lot of run blitzes on early downs against the Steelers. And, again, you're playing Zimmer this week, so you assume he's going to attack the A-gaps with the inside linebackers, particularly on early run downs. I would have those fake handoff, and boots with Fields to the outside and just let him run.
Yeah, especially with your two edge guys being out.
Yeah.
Like you wouldn't do that to Parsons
No,
or even
because
away
they're
from
just
Parsons.
not as experienced.
Right.
Like, I'm going to run at Nealon. He's going to try to crash
He'll
inside.
bite in,
yeah.
and I think that's a great idea. I mean, and they could even be run pass options for Fields.
Oh, yeah,
I mean,
maybe have a
right.
tight end drag out with him, you know, that kind of stuff.
We haven't talked about it a ton on the air, but we've talked about it a lot otherwise. That's what we do is we talk about football when we're not on the air. But, like, Steelers' first down stuff has been bad. I mean, it really has. And they're also running a really high percentage on first down. And this is probably a longer conversation, but as you know, and I think a lot of our listeners know, a lot of these coaches will break the season into, like, 4 quarters, you know, and you kind of self-scout after that first, 4 games or so. And it's not a perfect science with 17 games opposed to 16, but whatever, you'll get the idea. And I wouldn't surprise me if they're saying, man, we're running the ball a really high percentage of time on first downs, and then we're in second and long a lot, and we're running in that situation too much, and thus we snap the ball on third downs too much. We might need to change our run-pass ratio up a little bit on first down.
I'm just counting here. They did do that a little bit more this past game. They actually attempted 14 passes on first down. Not all of that was late in the game when they were trying to play catch-up.
Okay.
So
now,
he threw 32 times, and more than a third of them came on first downs.
And with an athletic quarterback, it can also be misleading. They may call a pass, and it ends up being a run.
True.
And because like the run-pass ratio stuff doesn't account for scrambles, which is probably 5 to 8 a game for him.
Yeah, but Fields' first pass attempt last week was an incomplete pass to Najee Harris in the flat. That's one that he struggled with a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
That little dump off to the flat that's been there a couple of times now.
Yeah.
And he's either thrown behind Harris or,
he hasn't really led him perfectly. And they need to be perfect throws.
Yeah, you don't want to throw it behind the running back because he's got his momentum going towards the line of scrimmage.
He's
want him
his feet and flipping his hips back towards.
You want him to catch that with a full head of steam, as we saw. It did happen later in the game, and he got 50 yards.
Right. And I'd be interested in more of that, too. We've been calling for more Najee catches for sure. I wonder, though, if Warren and Patterson aren't available, maybe that's some hits you take off his plate and they go to Freiermuth or whatever. Yeah. I don't know,
And Champlin wasn't bad in the preseason. I think he can do some stuff there and do some damage. So that's something to keep an eye on. Even later in that first few drives, they had a 1st and 10 completion for 7 yards to Freiermuth on 1st and 10. 1 for 4 yards to George Pickens on 1st and 10. 1 for 14 yards to Cordell Patterson on 1st and 10. Another one for 10 yards to Pickens on 1st and 10. So they were this was in the first half of the game. They were they've had to have done some self-scouting here and saying, hey, we're not getting anything on first. They're just crushing. They're just crashing on 1st and 10 here. We got to start throwing the ball a little bit more.
Yeah, I didn't realize just past game was that first down pass heavy, but that's encouraging.
Yeah, so maybe we see a little bit more of that just to soften the Cowboys up a little. You throw to pass a little bit. I should say throw to run a little bit.
Yeah. No, I think there's – I knew where you're going with that, but I'm definitely cool with that. I really like your idea of play action rollouts, especially up
get them on the move,
stuff.
Yeah.
Right. Get everybody crashing towards the middle of the formation.
Yeah, absolutely. But let's get to a break. He is the Matt Williamson. I am Dale Lally. You're listening to The Drive here on the Steelers Audio Network. Matt and I will be back with more right after this. And welcome back. I am Dale Lally. He is the Matt Williamson. And, Matt, I thought we changed things up a little bit here today. Just because.
Okay.
I'm running the show.
Do what you want. No one tells me anything. I'm up for whatever you want to do.
I don't even tell him what I'm doing. We just do it.
Never, ever.
So Kyle Krabs has a latest mock draft.
Oh, does he? Good.
He does here on the 33rd team. And, of course, Kyle joined the show at the
Yep.
Was that the owners' meetings or was that the combine?
He's definitely been honest with the combine in years past.
Yeah.
I don't remember if he joined the owners' meeting. I think it's just been combine.
Yeah. Anyway, so he's done his latest mock draft here on the 33rd team.
Okay.
At number 1 overall, he's got the Patriots taking Travis Hunter, the wide receiver / cornerback from Colorado.
I've seen him go in the top 3 or 4 consistently now.
Yeah.
He's having an unbelievable season.
Really talented.
The knock on him, obviously, is can you really do both? You know what I mean? Like, maybe you can do some part-time, Dion-ish, both.
I've talked to some people in the know.
Yeah. They think he can?
Yeah, they think he can.
And that's why that's great. And apparently that's the ringing endorsement of him or nobody would take him first overall.
Yeah.
But my point was going to be, if I just need a corner, I'll probably take Will Johnson. If I just need a receiver, I might take one or two guys ahead of him. But if I'm really going to use both, well, that's if he's the 3 corner and the 2, or the 2 corner and the 3 receiver, well, that goes a long way.
Yeah, yeah. Even if he's playing 20 receiver snaps for
yeah. He's my number 3, or right. And I assume that's what it'll be. He's not going to
not going to run him out there for 120 NFL snaps.
Never go to the sideline. Sit there. He's your punt returner. He's your kickoff returner. Right. I'll just stay out here, guys. Bring me some water.
At number 2, he has the Giants taking Cam Ward, the quarterback from Miami.
Wow, that's the first I've seen him that high. I think he's making a strong push for the Heisman. He's having a great year. Big, strong kid. Okay, I didn't realize he was that revered. I heard a lot of first-round buzz since then, but not top 5.
At 3, and how the mighty have fallen, he has Jacksonville taking Will Johnson, the cornerback from Michigan. Can Jacksonville end up with the 3rd pick?
Yes. They may start selling some of their good players. I think that's on the horizon. We could have a coaching change. They do need another corner. I mean, they have Campbell's their best guy is out. Yeah, and even when he's in,
they just signed Trevor Lawrence to a big time deal.
They have receivers. I mean, tackle wouldn't kill him. The roster's not that bad.
It shouldn't be this bad. But the quarterback right now is. I saw some numbers today. Comparing his numbers to those of Sam Darnold, and they're not markedly
for this
different.
year. Oh, you're talking about?
I'm talking for their careers.
I say this year they're not even close. But for the career,
yeah,
wow,
and
that's scary.
Sam Darnold's on his 5th team,
right, and was considered a massive bust.
Yeah,
I mean,
at 4, the Titans take Shedeur Sanders, quarterback from Colorado.
I could definitely see that. Whether it's Sanders or not, I could just see Titans in the top 5 quarterback.
I don't know if I see it with him as.
I haven't studied any of these guys.
I haven't studied. I've watched a couple of Colorado games, and I'm like,
I have not been blown away either.
Yeah, a lot of it's sideways, and then there's some stat padding there too. Mm-hmm. Daddy likes to pad his stats late in games.
He's also going to be. I don't know if it's going to be like an Eli Manning situation. Remember, Eli wouldn't play for certain teams,
yeah.
But there's going to be some things to deal with this kid.
Yeah.
I'm not saying he's a bad kid. Eli wasn't a bad guy either.
I don't know him from Adam.
Right. Elway wouldn't play for the Colts.
I just don't see him being a transcendent quarterback.
The thing I really noticed with him is Daddy's more athletic than him. He's a good athlete.
No, he's not a bad athlete.
I mean, he's not a special Dion type athlete.
Yeah.
Right.
At 5, the Carolina Panthers take Abdul Carter, edge rusher from Penn State.
Do you think they'd go quarterback again, though? I mean, saying if there were one available and you're picking 5th, I don't think Young's going to be on the team next year. I mean, not that they couldn't use Carter, of course. I don't know that
they're done with Young yet. I think right now it's just to take a step back, watch what Dalton does, and I think Young starts games for them again at some point this season.
That would be promising. I mean, I hope that's the conversation.
Because they're not going anywhere with Andy Dalton.
No, right.
So they got to find out what they have. I think this is a situation where they just said, you know what, new coaching staff, we're going to give you some time to learn this. This is the second time in 2 years you've had to learn a new offense, and maybe it's too much for him right now. Watch what Andy does in this, and then we'll get you back in there in a few weeks when we're completely out of it. We got to find out, because you're a new coaching staff. You didn't take this guy. You got to find out what you have in him.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, they invested a ton in the guy. Big thing I said when they benched him was I felt they had to do it not even for him, but there was no way of evaluating the other 10 people on the field.
Yeah, that was that was a tough thing.
And those 10 aren't that bad. I mean, the O-line's all right. Deontay gets open. They run the ball. Those 10 are okay. They're not the problem.
Yeah.
They're not perfect, but they're not the problem. The defense stinks. So, I mean, if they were to go best defensive player or whatever.
At 6, the Cleveland Browns.
I see it.
Take Tatoria McMillan, the wide receiver from Arizona.
Think Mike Evans with him.
Yeah.
And that's the style he is. I don't think Cooper's going to be back.
I don't think Elijah Moore is going to be back.
Is he a free agent after the year? Yeah.
They could clean the whole thing out except for
Judy. They gave money a little bit, but yeah. No, that pick makes all the sense in the world. I mean, Watson's going to be back. It might be time to start rebuilding the O-line, too.
It might be, yeah.
I mean, it's in shambles.
At 7, they could take a defensive tackle, too. That wouldn't be a bad idea.
And supposedly a really good defense tackle draft.
At 7, the Colts. I don't see the Colts going
Nah, they'll
at
be
7.
better than that.
Take Malachi Starks, the safety out of Georgia. I don't know that you take a safety at 7. He better be really damn good.
And say Kyle Hamilton was getting the same kind of buzz, and he goes 15 or 16.
Derwin James went 17.
Exactly. And these were these transcendent safeties. Yeah. I mean, and they both hit. I mean, they both were good players. They lived up to what they were. I don't know that he goes 7. Right.
At
Something
8,
on defense, though, for the Colts.
Yeah. The Raiders at 8 take Jalen Milroe, quarterback from Alabama.
I think he's going to go ahead of the two they mentioned.
I think he might, too.
I mean, he is a rocket ship
in
terms of just running, and he makes some throws. He's so much better than the last time I paid attention to him. I think he's going to start getting first overall type buzz.
Yeah, he's just a ridiculous athlete and can make all the throws.
Yeah,
like
strong, right.
From where he came last year. Was it last year when he broke into the lineup? First time I watched him, I'm like,
wow,
he didn't really know what he's doing out there.
He's all over the place.
So now it's like, okay.
He makes you feel better, and he is a rocket ship.
Yeah. Now some of that they also have great players around him.
Of course.
But still,
they were playing Georgia. I mean, he did really, really well.
At 9, Denver takes Luther Burden, the third wide receiver out of Missouri.
A lot of debate between those AB. I mean, it's like A.J. Green versus Julio Jones. What
I watched some of Burden this week. I can't remember who they were playing. They were playing. It doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, I watched some of him this week. He's good.
Mm-hmm. I've seen glimpses. I haven't studied him. A lot of people talk to him like he's Jamar Chase type.
Yeah.
That's pretty high
praise.
He's
not real big.
He's thicker, though.
Yeah,
he's
not thicker.
Tall like the Arizona dude.
At 10, Arizona takes Mason Graham.
Oh, they'd love that.
Defensive tackle from Michigan.
I mean, just a couple weeks ago, I was seeing him as maybe the first overall pick.
Yeah.
I mean, really good D tackle. They absolutely need it.
At 11, Chicago takes James Pierce Jr., edge rusher out of Tennessee.
Yeah, I buy that too. I mean, D-line or O-line, I would think would be the move for them. Their center guard situation is really bad, but you're not going to take one that high.
At 12, the Rams take Benjamin Morrison, cornerback out of Notre Dame. I really like him too.
Yeah, a lot of corners of size in this first round too. By the way,
big and physical. And I remember watching the Notre Dame game last year. I'm like, who's that guy?
Right? Yeah.
And Michael Birch is the PR director, or one of the assistant PR directors for the Steelers. Used to be working PR for Notre Dame.
Oh, did he?
And I was asking him, I'm like, when does this kid come out? And he's like, oh, he's got another year.
He's got a little time yet. Yeah, he's appealing. Rams could go so many directions.
Yeah. At 13, the Dolphins.
They're going to pick earlier than that.
Take Garrett Nussmeier, quarterback out of LSU.
No way. I mean, unless he never plays again, you don't give someone $50 million a year and then take a quarterback the first round.
The Falcons just.
I was just saying, like, yeah, I guess some teams do. The Packers did a few years ago, and they're pretty happy about it. I mean, he's actually a Dolphins guy. He hosts Locked on Dolphins, and he's in Miami, and he's a Dolphin guy.
Maybe.
I mean, it's a need.
Yeah. I mean, this may be a situation where Tua could come back and play this season, get to the end of the year, and then doctors talk to him again and like, no, I'm good. I'm done. I can't do this anymore.
I mean, a cheap backup makes sense. I think more like a day 2 guy.
Yeah, a cheap first-round backup is not a cheap backup.
Right. I mean, if you think Tua's only going to last another year, then it makes sense.
How long was the contract that they signed him for?
I'm assuming 4 or 5.
Yeah, probably not more than 4.
Right.
Could you then, at some point, I'm assuming there's an out in there at some point, take a guy, let him sit for a year, and then
he might even play for that year.
And because you got caught this year without a backup, at least you've got something there that, hey, this kid could at least get better.
It's growing on me, and there's a lot of buzz around him. Watching the LSU kid is pretty impressive.
They've got all that money wrapped up in their wide receivers.
That's the thing. They can't go get a $10 million backup.
Right. They can't do it. They have to almost make it a young guy.
Yeah. You don't want a $60 million quarterback room.
You're wasting your $60 million that you're spending on 2 wide receivers by having Skylar Thompson out there running your offense.
Yeah. No, that's pretty bold, but I understand the logic now.
Yeah. At 14, the Chargers take Ashton Genty, running back out of Boise State.
Boy, is he good. I would think a receiver, though, more so than if I'm going to go skill position player. Defense could use a lot. Defensive tackle.
They want to run the football, though.
Yeah, and I could see Kyle or anyone doing a mock just wanting to get Genty in this neighborhood.
Yeah.
You know? He's been unbelievable.
At 15, the Saints take offensive tackle Will Campbell out of LSU, keeping him in the Bayou.
It'd be 3 first-round tackles in a very short amount of time, but one of them could easily be a guard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At 16, the Falcons take Isaiah Bond, wide receiver out of Texas.
That would be a good move. He's a speedster,
He
Xavier
can
Worthy
fly,
type.
but
yeah.
he's bigger than Worthy, though.
I think he is, yeah. He'd be your Darnell Mooney plus.
Yeah. At 17,
Pass rush wouldn't kill Atlanta either.
the Eagles take Nick Scourton, defensive lineman from Texas A&M. I love him. I like him a lot.
Boy,
a lot.
I could see the Eagles loving him too.
Big body, long,
Yeah.
a long 300-pounder. Who can line up on the outside. He can line up inside.
Really physical, heavy hands.
Yeah.
You know, some Cam Hayward feels like Cam coming out of college.
Yeah, he is good. 18, Seattle takes Tyler Booker, offensive lineman from Alabama.
I could absolutely see interior O-line or even a right tackle, move some people around.
Yeah. At 19, Cincinnati takes Kelvin Banks Jr., offensive tackle from Texas.
Tackles 2 years in a row for them?
Yeah, I mean, Orlando Brown's not getting any younger.
No.
He's been in the league longer than you think.
The other Brown, I don't think will be back.
No.
He may never play again. Boy, their defense is bad, though. But they've been drafting defense like crazy, and it's not done anything.
You got to protect your franchise.
I mean, it's hard for – I'm not going to ever argue with a team taking a tackle. I mean, it'll figure its way out. Somebody will move the guard. Mims might be a bust. Who knows?
Yeah.
But, boy, their defense is rough.
At 20, the Jets take Carson Beck, quarterback.
A quarterback would make a lot of sense.
Quarterback
here.
from Georgia.
Who knows if Rodgers is even back next year?
Yeah, you don't know. He could say, I'm done. At 21, the Steelers take Emeka Egbuka, wide receiver from Ohio State.
Okay. I could absolutely see a receiver. I mean, that makes all the sense in the world. He's not the most exciting prospect from what I've seen. But he's really solid, and he's always been like their number 2.
With the board falling this way, what's there been? One defensive tackle taken?
The Michigan kid, too.
The Michigan kid's the only one. Scourton could be.
Yeah, I didn't know if you're counting him or not. Yeah.
I might go that route.
Yeah. I think those are. I mean, if I were putting a chip down right now, what position they take could be a big man on defense or a receiver.
Yeah.
But you can get receivers on day 2.
At 22, Washington takes Michael Williams, edge rusher from Georgia.
Makes all the sense. Their edge guys are pretty bad.
At 23, Minnesota takes Siobhan Revel Jr., cornerback, East Carolina. They need corners.
They need corners bad, yeah. I mean, they leave on islands a lot, yeah.
He tore his ACL, though, this month.
Is he the one that got hurt?
Yeah. At 24, Tampa Bay takes Jalen Walker, linebacker from Georgia.
Okay. I think he's also an edge type.
At 25, Houston takes Kenneth Grant, interior defensive lineman from Michigan.
But he's bigger.
He's a bigger, yeah.
He's 340-ish.
That's not what you're looking for the Steelers. You want
No, he would be Benton's backup.
He's more of a nose tackle type.
Right. But he moves well. You know, I mean, he gets up the field.
At 26, Dallas takes Omarion Hampton, running back from North Carolina. 2 running backs in the first round.
Surprised Hampton would be number 2. I mean, again, I haven't studied these guys. It's supposedly an awesome running back class. But the kid at Ohio State is the one that everyone thought would be the first one taken. Hampton's a big back, though.
At 27, San Francisco takes Emory Jones Jr., offensive tackle from LSU, the other tackle from LSU.
I like that idea.
Yeah.
I mean, Trent Williams is going to be there much longer.
At 28, Buffalo takes Jack Sawyer, edge rusher out of Ohio State.
Who took him?
That would be Buffalo.
They've used a lot of high picks on D linemen.
Yeah.
I don't hate it.
At 29, Green Bay takes Denzel Burke, cornerback from Ohio State.
Yeah, when Alexander was out this past week, it really showed.
Yeah.
You know, and they've gone after some guys, Stokes, before that haven't really hit on.
Yeah. At 30, Baltimore takes Tate Rutledge, offensive lineman from Georgia.
Yes.
They definitely need some offensive line help.
Yeah. Stanley's playing so much better this year, and Linderbaum's going to be a fixture, but you hope Rosengarten's the right tackle, but
Yeah.
give me just any kind of lineman and we'll figure it out,
At 31, Detroit takes Antoine Powell-Ryland, edge rusher out of Virginia Tech.
Okay.
I don't know much about him.
I don't either. I've heard the name. I don't know if he a speed guy. Is he a big guy? I don't know.
And at 32, Kansas City takes Tyler Warren, tight end from Penn State.
Most of the guys I've seen have Michigan's tight end being the first one off the board. It might be tight end time, though. I mean, it's like in my dynasty leagues, my last pick would be Wiley. Just come like, he might be the starting tight end next year. Learn from Kelsey, and I think who's the number 2 now? Plays a fair amount.
Oh, shoot.
He's fine, but he's a 2, and he's always going to be a 2. So the next extreme pass catcher for them might not be on the roster.
Yeah.
The other
or
thing
maybe they do it a different way. They could also go get a true number 1 wide receiver.
Yeah. That's what I was going to say, is Kelsey and Rashee Rice are really similar, to be honest with you. And if they want to keep doing that, there's also Rice's suspension looming.
Correct.
I know they put him on IR today with hopes of getting him back. So I assume they think he'll be healthy by next year.
But the suspension will be coming
The suspension
next year.
could be 10 games or 12 games or whatever. He could get in trouble again.
There's always that possibility, too.
The chance of Kelsey being around next year or 2 years from now is slim.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But that's Kyle Krabs with his mock draft here through entering 5 weeks. Or 5 weeks into the season.
We should do that once a month or so.
Yeah, that's why I figured we're through the month of September.
Mm-hmm.
There's 4 or 5 games of college football tape out there. We now have a better idea of what some of these NFL teams might need.
Yeah, that's becoming clear.
Yeah.
And where they're actually going to be picking. And, right. No one would have had the Browns picking in the top 5 or Jags.
No. Yeah, so it's just interesting.
It is.
Let's get to a break. He is the Matt Williamson. I am Dale Lally. You're listening to The Drive here on the Steelers Audio Network. We'll be back with more right after this. And welcome back to The Drive on the Steelers Audio Network. Of course, we are live every Monday through Friday from 4 to 6 p.m. on Steelers Nation Radio here. You can also hear us on locally here on 970 a.m. And, of course, you can watch the show on the podcast available on YouTube, and you can download the Steelers official mobile app, and it'll download right to your phone.
Yep, the way to do it.
I could do it that way as well. But Matt, just looking at some of the numbers here on this Cowboys team,
they're somewhere extreme.
There's some things that don't match up real well.
Mm-hmm.
So they're only allowing a 33% conversion rate on third downs. 16 of 48 opponents are.
Okay.
And yet they're losing the time of possession almost 33 minutes per game to 27 because opponents aren't getting to third down. They've given up 79 first downs this season. They have 75. We have a pretty good idea. This is a good Dallas offense.
It is. Even if they don't run the ball well, it's a good offense.
Yeah.
Right.
And they've given up more first downs than what they have. Opponents are also 6 of 9 on fourth downs against them. That's in 4 games.
I was about to mention that, too.
Yeah.
Like the money downs haven't been good to them, fourth down wise.
They give them a full they allow 4.6 yards per carry and average 3.5.
So this is another team, like the team that the Steelers just played, the Colts. They play too much defense.
Yeah.
I mean, they're out there too much. And even if the offense is good, the running game doesn't protect them enough. And that's not necessarily why Parsons and Lawrence got hurt, but now that they are, it's only going to get worse. And just in terms of wear and tear on your body over the course of the game, over the course of the season, especially those big people, like we mentioned. I mean, I would do everything possible to keep as many of their big people on the field as long as possible, and run as many plays at them as possible. Because that would be a real fear for me. You're going to be low on the depth chart.
Another stat that jumps – so special teams, they rank very high.
I'd say they're good, yeah.
In fact, they're number 1 in DVOA in special teams.
I looked at PFF. They were 2 or something.
Yeah, okay.
Right, yeah.
Turpin is averaging 19.2 yards per punt return.
Wow.
Something to keep an eye on there.
Yeah.
However, he has a 60-yard touchdown on a punt return.
Okay.
their opponents are averaging 15.4 yards per punt return.
Yikes.
So you're averaging 19.2 yards per punt return, and you still only have a 4-yard advantage there.
Right. And
that's not good.
Their kicker carries a lot of weight with the special teams, too.
Yeah.
I mean, he's probably the best in the league right now.
Well, to that point, they've returned 8 kickoffs already this year.
The Steelers
Mind
have won.
You, the Steelers have won. Everybody's kicking the ball out of the end zone. They have allowed opponents to return 8.
It must be a philosophical thing.
Because
nobody has a bigger
care.
leg. Yeah.
Now, they've covered those well. They're only giving up 23.5 yards per return.
Worked.
That's worked. The long is only 31 yards against them. This would be a game you'd love to have Jalen Warren and Cordero Patterson
Looks
available.
like you might have neither. Right.
And you might have neither.
All right, because that sounds like they're going to kick to you.
Yeah.
They must feel like they can cover it. And again, I'm not a kicking specialist, but Aubrey's a pretty special dude.
Yeah.
Obviously, he could kick it out of the end zone at Heinz Field on Sunday if he wanted to.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got a humongous leg. But maybe he's just really, really good at putting
the ball exactly
where you want it.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe he can put it in the corner, or he has a
right
weird
at
kick.
everything's inside the one.
Yeah.
Or he's able to. Because the weird thing about it is, like, people are like, well, just squib kick it. Well, you can't squib kick this.
Depends where it lands.
It's got to still have to land inside the 20 on the squib. The first time the ball touches the ground, it has to be in the landing zone, which is the 20 to the goal line. That's really hard to do.
Yeah. And other people are like, well, just put great hang time on it.
That
Well, they can't leave it. Doesn't do any good either.
Yeah.
Right.
You still can't. The defense still can't move until the ball is touched.
Not till it's kicked. It's till it's touched.
Yeah.
Right. That doesn't do any good.
So you'd love to have Cordero Patterson and Jalen Warren available for this game.
Absolutely. And I assume their kick coverage is really good. And one thing I was really impressed with, I know he's not with the team anymore, but Wright, the Steeler kicker from the training camp, he was really good at kicking close to a line drive. And now we're on YouTube, I can do this. The ball would do this.
Yeah. It's like a whirly bird.
It's like a whirly bird, like a Frisbee almost,
Yeah.
And that would be hard to field,
He also kicked one that, like, curved.
Yeah. He had some fun.
It was like a curveball that, okay.
It wasn't an accident.
Yeah, when it hits, it's like, ooh.
Maybe Aubrey has some tricks up his sleeve. I don't know.
He might, yeah. And, I talked to Cordero Patterson last week about that on Friday when we had a nice chat. And he said, the chances to get returns are going to come.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's when the weather changes or whatever, here in Pittsburgh or whatever, you just have to be ready for it. He said, but, the kickers are so good now.
Yeah.
They can put the ball where they want to put it. Everybody's got the leg to kick it out of the end zone if they really want to.
And they're only going to get better at it.
Yeah.
I mean,
the more you do this
kicking,
stuff.
some of these guys haven't practiced as much because why bother before this year? Where punters have been doing it forever.
Now you just get the driver out, and a lot of teams are just kicking it out of the end zone, particularly against the Steelers. Just one return for them in the first 4 games.
Yeah.
And
it's interesting that Dallas isn't, though.
Yeah.
But
they've made it work thus far.
If Patterson and Warren aren't out there, I would assume there will be kickoff returns.
Yeah. So something to keep an eye on. I would assume it would be Champlin and maybe if they bring up another running back, maybe Ward or someone like that comes up.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to dress 3.
Yeah.
And through preseason, there was a lot of those guys got a chance.
They got
at
chances,
least.
yeah. They've worked at it. But
if I'm Dallas and I'm good at covering kicks, I'm definitely kicking to those guys.
Yeah, something to keep an eye on. Jordan Thomas and Turpin are their 2 main guys. I don't think
Turpin's dangerous with the ball in his hand.
He's averaging 34.5 yards per return.
Is
I
he?
think you just kick away from those guys or boot it through the end zone.
Yeah, probably boot it through the end zone.
Get the driver out.
Yeah. I mean, that's an easy solution.
Yeah. Just
that's interesting that Dallas won't, though, probably.
Some things to keep an eye on. I mean, that's just been the norm for what we've seen from the Steelers' opponents thus far. And, again, if Patterson's not out there, for sure. I mean, the one kickoff they do have was by Warren. Nobody's letting Patterson return the ball.
He has not returned one yet.
That's playing with fire.
Boswell and Aubrey might be the 2 best kickers in the league right now.
They very well may be.
Right.
I mean, Aubrey is thus far
he's
12
recently.
of 13.
Yeah.
By the way, Chris Boswell named the AFC Special Teams Player of the Month today.
Oh, was he?
Yeah.
Great. Very deserving.
Yeah.
But they both have big legs, accuracy. I mean, yeah. So
all that stuff.
Yeah, they're dynamite.
Yeah. So keep an eye on that part of special teams here because Dallas is good.
That's a good one. Yeah, I didn't dig that far into it, but apparently their punt returns are good. Punt return allowed is not.
Their punter, Brian Anger, too, is averaging 51.5 yards per kick.
So he's been around a long time.
Yeah, he can boom the ball.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't want this to turn into necessarily a field position game, but
but that's kind of how the Steelers
yeah.
do things too.
You
know?
You can take advantage of that Dallas defense in some of those situations, but don't give them short fields.
Right. I mean, Dak's going to hurt you.
Yeah.
I mean,
he's going to complete some passes.
I mean, they're not going to score 3 points, 7 points, 10
No.
points. I mean, they're going to score some points in this game. He's too good a quarterback. You know?
Absolutely. Let's get to another break. That's
All
going
right.
to do it for hour number 1 of the drive here on the Steelers Audio Network. Matt and I will be back with hour number 2 right after this. And we are back. I am Dale Lally. He is the Matt Williamson. And, this is the Fantasy Football Focus, Matt, but we haven't talked Steelers-Cowboys injury report yet. So let's do that
Okay,
to
let's
kick
start
off
off
the
with that.
Fantasy Football Focus because there are some fantasy-relevant guys here
Quite
for
a few.
sure. So today for the Steelers, Russell Wilson limited, but talked to him after practice. He said, yeah, I'm doing 11-on-11 work and doing some of that stuff, so it is ramping up a little bit. He's doing more than what
The
he
chance
did.
he's the 2 then, huh?
Potentially,
Okay.
yeah. Jaylen Warren, however, did not practice. We alluded to that in the previous segment, nor did Cordero Patterson.
Yeah, that's not great.
No, not great. Nick Herbig upgraded to limited today after not practicing yesterday. That's good news because Alex Highsmith's still out. He won't be returned probably until 3 weeks from now, after the Raiders game, is what they're signaling with that. Isaac Seumalo back today. They need that.
Yeah, absolutely. That's good news.
Michael Pruitt, once again, did not practice. And you had an interesting little note in your stats package that everybody should check out on Steelers.com.
Yeah, that's live now, by the way.
In the 2 weeks that Michael Pruitt has missed, Pat Freiermuth has seen a spike.
Huge spike.
In how much he's on the field.
Huge spike in 12 personnel.
Yeah.
So it was the first 2 weeks. I'll dig it up. But, I mean,
he wasn't out there much when they were in 12.
No, and he wasn't in the preseason either, which I found odd every step of the way. I'm like, why would you take him out? They play a lot of 12. I don't know why. But
largely we're running the ball in 12 personnel.
Yes. But with Pruitt out, he is now one of the 2 in 12.
Yeah.
And 14's gone out the window because they don't have 4.
They
do, but they played a lot less with Pruitt out, So Pruitt plays a lot of snaps.
Keanu Benton, a full participant today with the ankle injury after being limited yesterday. Cam Hayward out today. Today was his rest day.
Okay, that's fine.
But Larry Ogunjobi added to the injury report is limited with a groin issue.
Okay, that wasn't a veteran day off. That was something. Okay.
That was something.
All right.
On the Cowboys side of things, listen to this injury report.
Uh-oh.
Marquise Bell, safety. He has an ankle, but he was a full participant. Kalen Carson, cornerback, limited both days with a shoulder. Brandon Cooks did not practice. He's not going to play.
Yeah, he's out.
Trayvon Diggs added to the injury report today with an ankle injury as limited. That tells me it's something he did during practice.
Yeah, it makes me – and we think he's probably going to follow Pickens.
I would think so.
Right.
They did that in the second half against the Giants.
Neighbors.
Yeah, against neighbors. How about this? Rico Daldell added to the injury report. It's a wrist injury. Now, they list him as full, but they put him on there with a wrist injury.
Okay.
So it's something that they're monitoring.
And you always got to wonder how well he catch the ball, how well he hold the ball.
Yes.
And you're definitely going to get a helmet or something on your wrist hand as a running back, as a ball carrier. I mean, that could be, oh, he's bad, he's fine, and then the second quarter you don't see him again. You know?
Ezekiel Elliott limited today because of dehydration.
Then he'll play, but that's weird.
It's weird because also Ryan Flournoy, one of their wide receivers, left practice today with dehydration. It must have been a hot
day
in
in Dallas, right? I mean, Elliott's a little older. Okay.
They also added left tackle Tyler Guyton to the injury report with a shoulder injury. He was a full participant today, but you added them to. I don't know how they do their practice.
So how does that work? Right?
You added these guys.
He wasn't on yesterday.
Wasn't on there yesterday. You added them to the injury report, but there's something there. We'll see if they practice tomorrow.
Okay. Again, maybe something happened in practice to a couple of these players.
Micah Parsons obviously not practicing today, and then they had a bunch of guys who were limited yesterday who were full participants today. That would be Malik Hooker, Eric Kendricks, Jordan Lewis, and Zach Martin.
Okay. Well, Diggs is a concern. Well, corners and running backs are a concern. Yeah. So that's something to keep an eye on.
Absolutely. Looking around the league here, Chris Olave with the hamstring that cropped up last Friday. He played well Sunday. He was a full participant Thursday. Today was their first practice. They must play.
They're Monday nighter.
Must be the Monday nighter. How about this one? Kendre Miller with the hamstring returned to practice Thursday. They could use him.
He's on IR, I think, so he's eligible to come off.
Yeah.
Because there's Taysom Hill news, too, for them.
Yeah, he has broken ribs.
Broken ribs.
Not good. Yeah,
I wouldn't
count on him playing.
There's a league I have him and Goddard. Goddard, of course, is off this week. He plays Monday night, so I'm picking somebody up. I mean, there's just no way am I going to hope Taysom Hill with broken ribs plays on Monday night.
And does anything.
Yeah, and you think
not
they're
the way
going to
he's
use him as a
used.
goal line back or anything? Probably not. You know?
Juwan Johnson for
Which
the
means
Saints.
he'll have 3 touchdowns.
Yeah. Juwan Johnson returned to practice. He was limited on Thursday with a forearm issue.
I think he was on IR, too. I'm not positive on that.
He's been out.
He's been out,
but
yeah.
Cedric Wilson Jr. with an ankle, full participant on Thursday. A.T. Perry for them was limited with a hamstring. And how about this? Alvin Kamara with hip and rib issues, limited at practice on Thursday.
Yeah, that's our Wednesday, though, and he's an older back that's taking some pounding. I would monitor it, of course.
Things are starting to add up here. He's gotten a lot of carries.
He has. And I said this early in the year that Kamara in particular, he started the season so hot. Maybe I would have sold high on him after week 2 or 3 and the James Connors of the world and that entire draft class that is really, really good draft class. I just don't know if I trust them at their age to give me 17 games.
Yeah, that's tough. Their place kicker, Blake Group, with a hip, missed Thursday's practice. Always worth monitoring.
Yeah. You just hope Kamara's not a game-time decision on a Monday night.
Yeah, that's not something you want, yeah. Travis Etienne with that shoulder issue, limited at practice on Thursday again, as was Tank Bigsby.
It was Bigsby as well?
With the shoulder.
They're in the mix. I mean, if one plays, that's a nice situation when you have a handcuff for that reason. Because if one plays, you're pretty happy about it, you know?
Yeah.
That same league, for whatever, I know nobody cares, but my whole team is either hurt or on bye this week, so I have Bigsby in my starting lineup, you know?
Need him to
but
play.
it might be okay if ATN doesn't. But I'm reaching.
Josh Hines-Allen for them, for the Jaguars, with the concussion upgraded to limited on Thursday. That's a good sign for him.
Here, yeah.
Gabe Davis, limited on Thursday. Evan Ingram with the hamstring, also limited again on Thursday.
I don't think anything's saving their season, but getting him back would go a long way.
Oh, yeah.
It'd be a nice step in the right direction, at least.
On the Colts side of things in that one, Kenny Moore with the hip issue, again sidelined on Thursday.
Okay. We know he didn't play last week.
He didn't play last week against the Steelers. Anthony Richardson with that hip issue that he suffered against the Steelers, limited again on Thursday.
Might you just say, hey, Anth, why don't you take one more week off?
We want you to be able to run and protect yourself out there.
You're not so good at that.
Cole Kmet with the knee issue, upgraded to a full participant on Thursday.
In the tight end world, he might still be a top 12 guy.
17 catches.
I know he's
this
been
year.
really productive, but Allen comes back, I think.
Romeo Doubs has been missing from Green Bay's practices this week for personal issues.
I think Wicks and Reed are guys.
Like if all the other guys are out,
because I know there's Watson stuff going on too.
Yeah, Watson's not going to play this
he's
week.
Play, right?
Yeah.
You'd love it to get whittled down to 2.
Yeah, you might see more Bo Melton as well.
Yeah. I don't know if I'm grabbing him or anything.
I'm not grabbing him, but
right.
I like Bo Melton.
He's not bad, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't mind if he was a Steeler.
You mentioned Rashee Rice placed on injured reserve for the Kansas City Chiefs. When he left that game the other day, Juju's participation spiked.
In the exact same role.
Yeah.
I mean, as the big slot Kelsey replacement type. And he caught a touchdown that would have been Rice's, you know.
Yeah.
I mean,
much to your chagrin because
that was actually the week before. Now I think about it. Rice is happy to be out of the game.
Yeah,
and Juju caught one with the exact same route combination they would have used. It's something to monitor. I mean,
Xavier Worthy gets a spike, I think.
Kelsey gets the spike.
Keep an eye on Justin Watson too. Mahomes likes to throw to him. It might only be 3 or 4 times a game, but they're always big chunk plays.
I know. He's not real good at catching the ball, though. But they do. Mahomes loves him.
Yeah. They'll go. He does all the little things, and they give him shots out there, and he'll take some shots to Justin Watson.
Yeah. Contrary to popular belief, though, it's not the best offense we've ever seen.
No.
Like, people think it's this unbelievable offense. It's fine.
Jair Alexander with that groin injury that kept him out of the game last week for the Packers. He was back today. Limited, but he was back.
They need him.
Jordan Love, again, limited on Thursday. He played last week. You expect that.
He'll be fine.
Luke Musgrave with the ankle injury, sidelined on Thursday, did not practice. Tucker
Maybe
Kraft.
I'll pick up Kraft. Right.
Tucker Kraft is, again, all the other guys are hurt.
Right, all
or
the pass
missing.
catchers, yeah.
You can get you 4 or 5 catches.
Not terrible.
Yeah, get you 4, you're great.
Yeah.
Khalil Shakir with an ankle injury did not practice again on Thursday for the Buffalo Bills.
I think he's the receiver to own there.
Yeah.
But he's third in snaps. His watching him on TV and on tape is better than
He's just a slot guy.
he's just a slot guy. Yeah,
But
he
when he's
plays
on
a
the
lot,
field,
but not as much as the other guys. They
Allen
use him.
throws to him.
Yeah.
So
you always just wonder, what if he was out there every snap?
Miles Sanders with an illness did not practice on Thursday.
Okay,
That's good. That's good news for the
Chuba's
Chuba
a starter. Yeah,
Chuba's the guy.
Yeah. Jonathan Brooks is looming. I wonder.
He's looming, but I
when
don't
that'll
think he's
happen.
anywhere close at this point. I don't
Yeah.
know that he necessarily
I said, do you rush
comes
him
right
back
in
or,
and pushes Chuba Hubbard off the field.
That's
Chuba
what I
Hubbard's
mean.
been good.
He's been real good. He's one of the bright spots of the team.
Deontay Johnson with an ankle injury, limited on Thursday, but he's played through that the last couple of weeks.
Mm-hmm.
So we mentioned Taysom Hill, diagnosed with fractured ribs. That's very painful, and
I would think he at least gets a
couple
week.
of weeks.
Yeah.
Joe Mixon, still not practicing on Thursday for Houston.
It sure seems like it's Akers, but that doesn't mean you throw him in your lineup and you're happy about it.
No. Malik Neighbors with that concussion, not practicing on Thursday.
That's a shame.
That's not a good sign.
No, that's a really bad sign.
Yeah.
I bet he doesn't play this week.
That was on that. He kind of did that to himself. Like
I'm trying to think.
last
how that
play of the
happened.
game,
it was really
their
late.
last offensive play. Again, this has been since last Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
He kind of went and tried to do the toe tap.
Yeah.
And basically landed and hit head first on the ground. And
If he's limited now, it's been well over a week. It's been a week now.
it's been a week and he's still not practicing. That
I
must
wouldn't
be
count on him.
Yeah, he'll have until Saturday to clear concussion protocol. But if he doesn't at least get a limited tomorrow, he can't clear concussion
it's
protocol.
over, right?
Yeah.
And he's had more time to heal than most.
Do you bump up Wan'Dale Robinson if that's the case?
Yeah.
Wan'Dale Robinson could get 25 targets.
They target him like crazy anyways. It's short. It's
Yeah.
nickel and diamond, but that adds up.
Devin Singletary with a groin not practicing on Thursday.
What's your favorite? The rookie's the backup,
The kid
I
out
think.
of Purdue.
Yeah. They couldn't run at all against the Cowboys.
Yeah.
And Dallas sold out for that reason. But I don't know where the Giants' points come from if Neighbors and Singletary are out, too.
Right.
It's
yeah,
gonna be
it's,
bad.
it's pretty bad. I don't know
Who are
if
they
you
playing
want,
again?
I don't care.
That's that. I want to put their defense
I don't
in.
want to
Right.
I don't want to put them on the field.
I know. I want to put the defense playing against the Giants is who I want.
Jonathan Taylor with that ankle injury. And they're saying it's a mild high ankle sprain. There's no such thing as a mild high ankle. He's got a high ankle. He ain't playing this week.
Hey, I promise this is what is happening. I don't care if it's mild or whatever. It's a high ankle sprain. So the head coach is telling everyone, I don't know if he's going to play or not. Deep down, he knows he isn't. And then next week it comes out, he's going to miss 2 to 3 weeks. That's probably what happens.
Trey Sermons is
very viable.
Absolutely. They're playing Jacksonville this week.
Yeah. He's a starter.
Yeah. He's going to get 15 to 20 carries, and that's enough.
Mm-hmm. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
They have a good line. They'll run the ball.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter if it's Flacco or Richardson.
George Kittle with that rib injury did not practice. This being Wednesday, because it's the West Coast.
Mm-hmm.
That's when you're getting the news out of that. Trent Williams was rested. Fred Warner with that ankle injury missed practice on Wednesday. He's saying he's going to play, though, this week.
Yeah. It seems like there's some doubt about that, though.
Yeah, we'll see when we get there. Their place kicker, Matt Prater, what they need.
That's the Niners?
No, that's for Arizona. They're playing
okay.
Arizona. He was a non-participant on Wednesday, so that's worth keeping an eye on.
Yeah.
Trey McBride was limited yesterday. That's a good sign for him.
I'd say that's not bad, yeah.
Yeah, you want him to get that limited practice in and see where that goes from there. So
That's a good first step.
Zamir,
He's super valuable.
Again, some Wednesday stuff from the West Coast. Zamir White with a groin, limited at practice on Wednesday.
It sounds like he's kind of getting benched, though.
He has some interest in Alexander Madison.
A little bit. They run the ball poorly, but
They still try.
again, if he gets 70% of the touches, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
He's fantasy relevant.
Max Crosby with the ankle, missed practice on Wednesday. He's saying he's going to be back this week. That was the first game last week in his career that he's missed.
I know. He hardly misses snaps.
Yeah. DeMarcus Robinson with a hip injury for the Rams was limited on Wednesday.
They use Atwell a lot, and they've been using the Texas kid, Willingham or whatever his name's, a lot. If you're desperate with bye weeks and all these injuries, and
you could do worse.
You could do okay. Yeah, it's not the worst thing I've ever heard. Right.
Kenneth Walker's still dealing with that oblique. He practiced in full on Wednesday. Didn't seem to hold him back at all.
No, I think he was all right
against the Lions. He was quite good.
Yeah, he was just fine.
On like 16 carries, he had 3 touchdowns.
He's so explosive. He's a really good player.
We got a game tonight, Matt.
Yeah.
You got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers against they're in Atlanta.
In Atlanta.
Who do you like in this game?
For fantasy or just to win?
Both.
I picked the Falcons, just short week. I think it's a 1.5 spread, something like that.
Home.
It's not like it's a bad road trip, but it's still home, short week. I look at those two and the Saints as all pretty equal teams in that division. Starting to get some faith that Atlanta's defense is coming around, or offense is coming around, Cousins and those guys, and I think London will do well. In terms of...
Keep an eye on the Bijan Algier stuff.
Yeah, I would say that's
Bijan's still dealing with that shoulder issue. It's a short week. Don't be surprised if Algier gets more carries than him again tonight.
It wouldn't blow me away in a short week,
yeah.
100%. And certainly the goal line stuff, too, which isn't ideal. But you're
not
putting Bijan
will be out
on your
there
bench.
to catch he'll catch the ball, the passing stuff in that offense. But don't be surprised if Algier ends up with 10 carries to 8 for Bijan or something like that.
And the tight end situation, I mean, I know everyone's got tight end issues in fantasy, but Pitts is right there with Andrews now for me in terms of...
Let's put it this way. Would you rather start Pitts in this game or would you rather start Cade Otton?
Pitts, but it's the same tease as always. Like he could have a 70-yarder, but he never does.
He never does.
He never does. I mean, it's just the tease.
Cade Otton's not been...
It's not that terrible, though,
He's
right?
not been bad.
No, it's not been bad at all.
In fact, he's coming off a game where he had 6 catches for 52 yards. The week before that against the Broncos, 7 for 47.
Mm-hmm.
He got, largely all in the last 2 games, 14 catches for 104 yards.
Not bad at all, right? Maybe the answer's Otton. I mean, Pitts is really hard to
He's
trust.
Actually a part of the offense.
Yeah.
As opposed to Pitts, who's just out there running routes.
Oh, yeah, he just do a wind sprint.
And some of that, again, as I mentioned earlier in the week, the tight ends who are more wide receiver-like, because of all the cover 2 that's being played,
doesn't help them all that
Doesn't help them at all.
Yeah.
It's the guys who are the in-line guys who are the dump-offs. Again, I just mentioned Otton's stats. 7 for 47 isn't going to excite anybody.
It's still 7.
It's still 7 catches for 40. And if you're a PPR, that's 11.7 points.
Right, and he could score touchdowns as easily as anybody else.
Last week, 6 for 52, 11.2 points. You're getting 11 points out of a tight end in today's NFL?
I'm saying this landscape, and that's not so awful, right? I don't know if consider picking him up, but maybe after a good week tonight.
If you're playing DFS tonight in a single game, you're probably getting Cade Otton a heck of a lot cheaper.
Nothing.
Yeah,
that's a good call. Like if you're just doing a single game DFS or whatever,
or if you're looking for something to a single game bet on something, like go over. Again, he's got 13 catches the last 2 weeks.
Would you rather play Mayfield or Cousins? I think Mayfield's had the better season.
He has, but I'll bet Terrell locks down on
Evans.
Godwin's been working out of the slot. Yeah. Here's the problem, though. Their other guys are hurt. Trey Palmer, who plays on the outside, he's hurt. I wonder, when they make that switch, do they move Godwin to the outside?
Probably.
There, he's not as effective on the outside as he is in the slot.
Also, Rashad White's banged up. I think he's questionable for tonight,
Bucky
too.
Irvin could be
somebody that's sneaky to get some points out of. Even for DFS, I'd probably Otton and Irvin. Irving would be cheaper and reasonable.
And I would guess, too, that now that Atlanta has a couple of games under its belt without their center, they're probably a little better.
Yeah. I'm sure that
they were
in decent shape. I'd probably start Mayfield over Cousins. Although I think London could have a nice game.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a good game tonight.
The other sneaky guy, Ray McLeod.
Wow.
Ray McLeod has So
He plays, though.
here's the thing with Ray McLeod, what he's done this year. Now, remember, they had the injury early in the season, or in the preseason to Moore. Not Rondell. Rondell.
Yeah.
Rondell Moore got hurt.
Yeah.
So when they signed Ray McLeod, it was basically to be their
I think he was off the street.
He would be their return guy.
That's
what he is.
Sort of gadgety, Rondell Moore type.
So he got 7 targets in the Steeler game, 5 the next week, 3 against Kansas City, 7 last week.
Wow.
He had 6 catches for 52 yards. He's like the outlet.
Yeah.
You got a good. Okay, we're just gonna dump it off and.
We know Cousins is a smart. He'll take the 6-yard pass every time.
That's the thing. I mean, Tampa Bay's defense likes to blitz.
Yeah, heavy.
What beats the blitz? Well, you throw in the quick stuff to the slot guy.
Mm-hmm. I mean, he's never going to have huge numbers for you, but
he might break a tackle. You never know.
He could be your Wan'Dale Robinson type. It's not terrible. More of a DFS thing.
Yeah,
but
I'm just saying.
It seems like there's some values to the DFS tonight.
Even
a couple of those
if you
guys
look at the
cheap.
props, and let's say Ray McLeod's at 2.5.
No, he probably goes over that.
Oh, I'm going over that. If it's 3.5, I'll be like, okay. But he's done that twice this year where he's gotten over 3.5.
I bet he ends up with 40 more yards, something like that.
Yeah. I mean, again, in a situation where Tampa's going to send the house a lot. They like to blitz. That's a quick, easy throw.
Mm-hmm.
It's not Pitts. A lot of teams.
Pitts runs long developing.
Yeah,
routes,
a lot of teams. That's the tight end. Okay, we're just going to beat this by throwing quick ones to the tight end. Ray McLeod's that guy in this offense.
It's an interesting angle. Yeah. Either defense excite you?
No.
They're both okay, but not great. I'm not running out to pick you up.
A lot of familiarity there.
Yeah.
So, anyways, let's get to a break. That's going to do it for the Fantasy Football Focus. He is the Matt Williamson. I am Dale Lally. You're listening to The Drive here on the Steelers Audio Network. Matt and I will be back with more right after this. Welcome back. I am Dale Lally. He is the Matt Williamson. And here's what we do on the show. I find things to talk about, or I come up with a topic to talk about, and then I throw them at Matt.
Well, I'm not getting water or coffee or whatever. Yeah, that's cool.
We don't talk about it. It's freeform jazz radio.
As long as I don't have to talk like MLB playoffs or something or politics or something like that. Right.
It's always something that has to do with football, we just talk.
Yep, let's go.
Like we're sitting at the bar talking.
There you have it.
This is what we do.
I can handle that.
When we're at training camp and we're sitting at the bar, this is what we do.
It's pretty similar to this. Yep.
So, Matt, Pro Football Focus has come up with its quarter mark all-pro team.
Oh, really? Okay.
So let's take a look and see what they got here.
Interesting.
And this is based off of their grading, so it's a little different.
Yeah, so we might fight some of them. Yeah,
you might be a little more.
Sure.
So at quarterback, Derek Carr.
I would take Josh Allen.
Yeah, I would agree.
Carr's been really good. I mean, especially those first 2 games have to carry weight. He was unbelievable.
Honestly, I'd have Sam Darnold before I'd have Derek Carr.
Yeah, and Daniels.
Yeah.
Those
guys have all
been really good. Geno Smith would be another one.
Yeah.
They've been really, really good this year. Allen, to me, has been the superstar.
Okay. Baker Mayfield's been better.
Yeah, probably. I mean, those first 2 games were great, but they don't ask Carr to throw a lot. That's kind of on purpose, right?
Yeah, he's thrown 100 passes in 4 games.
Yeah. They're kind of telling you a lot.
I'm no mathematician, but I believe that is 25. And he's thrown 6 touchdowns and 3 interceptions.
And some of them, they had those huge leads.
Yeah.
So they just ran the fourth quarter out.
Some of them they didn't, though.
Some of them they didn't, no. He would not be my choice.
Running back, and I can't disagree with this one, is Derrick Henry.
Who's even 2?
Kamara's been good.
He's probably 2.
Yeah.
But it's definitely
a couple
Henry.
old guys, though.
Yeah. I'm just trying to think like fantasy drafts. I mean,
Breece Hall hasn't been good.
No, Bijan's
been okay, but not great.
Right. Who's been a standout? Like Aaron Jones has been fine. Somebody like that. But
I mean, after the first 2 weeks, you would have said
Kyron Williams had a nice day.
Chargers.
Dobbins
was great the first 2 weeks, and then the last 2 weeks have been yuck.
Yeah. It's Henry by far, though.
Yeah. Wide receiver. Nico Collins.
I think that's fair.
Can't argue that.
Yeah, that's fair.
He leads the league in receiving by 100 yards.
By 100 yards. Wow.
Yeah.
I knew it was number 1.
Their second guy, Chris Olave.
Oh.
They say
He kind of started slow, though.
He's got a 91.4 PFF receiving grade.
I assumed he must grade well for it.
He's caught all 20 of his catchable targets through 4 weeks without a single drop.
How about Justin Jefferson?
Jefferson's been good. Yeah, I mean,
some of the usual suspects. I mean, like I would not put Lamb there. He's had a bad year, but he wouldn't be top two.
I think we talked about this a couple weeks ago. Like a lot of the guys who went in the first round in fantasy drafts this year,
Tyreek,
not been good.
A.J. Brown's
I mean, it's just not been good.
Can't be Garrett Wilson.
I mean, Malik Neighbors has been highly targeted and good. DK Metcalf's actually been great.
He's had a really good year too.
Yeah,
I would put both those guys over Olave.
You know, like Jaden Reed has been sneaky good, even when they had quarterback issues. I mean, he's put up some numbers and done. Like
I would take Jefferson.
Jaden Reed also, he's like the first guy. He has a chance to be, I believe, the first guy who threw his team's first 5 games to have more than 400 yards receiving and over 100 yards rushing as a wide receiver.
Huh. Okay.
So
he's a very good player.
Yeah. Tight end. They went with Isaiah Likely.
Really? He's had one good game.
Yeah.
I'm not seeing it.
They're going with his Pro Football Focus run blocking grade of 84.1. Well, how much of that?
I know McBride missed a game, but McBride's been...
If you look at the offensive line rankings,
their
guys are all like solid across the board. Now, reality tells me that is not the case because one of those guys is Falele, and I know he stinks. How much of that is Henry and having Lamar Jackson in the backfield?
Let's go back to tight ends, though. Who else is there? Like McBride plays them all, maybe. But I mean, if you
Goddard leads all tight ends in receptions by like 5 or 6 catches.
He'd be my pick.
The last 2 games have been great.
Yeah.
McBride was really good before that.
Mm-hmm.
Bowers has been solid.
Bowers isn't a bad one. I think I'd go with Goddard.
Heck,
Komet had a big game.
Pat Freiermuth has been very consistent.
Been steady at least, yeah.
And he still has more catches than Isaiah Likely.
Yeah, I mean, Likely's not even a starter.
Not even,
I mean, Kohler plays as much as Likely now.
Yeah. So
I get it. It's tough.
I wouldn't want to make that.
I know,
pick.
That's a brutal one. Goddard.
Flex wide receiver, their flex play. Juwan Jennings. Come on, man.
What are we doing here? He's not even a starter. No. Over Justin Jefferson?
Yeah, right.
No.
Left tackle, Jordan Mailata.
I'm fine with that. Trent Williams has been good as always.
Left guard, Quentin Nelson.
I don't have a problem with it.
I don't have a problem with it, but he's not as dominant as the Steelers will see a better left guard this week in Trey Smith. Or not Trey Smith,
Smith.
Tyler Smith.
I always get Tyler and Tyson and those guys mixed up.
He's a better player than Quentin Nelson.
Maybe, but they might be the 2 best.
Yeah.
I mean, so I don't have a problem with it.
How about this? According to them, over 122 pass blocking snaps, Nelson has allowed just 4 pressures, all of which came in the last week against the Steelers.
Yeah, I said Steelers did okay against Nelson.
And that was largely Cam Hayward.
Yeah,
once again,
Hayward, right. Hayward
eating
was awesome
Nelson's lunch.
He was really good in that game.
Yeah.
Cam.
Should have had a sack. That one should have been whistled down. Like where was
a big play?
Flacco's not escaping from that. Come on.
Right.
You're just going to get him hurt. If somebody had come in and blasted Flacco while Hayward has him around the waist.
Oh, everybody up in arms and yeah. That was a weird play. Dead. It should have been.
Center, Creed Humphrey.
He's really good. Frazier shouldn't be far off. I know that sounds crazy for a rookie, but he's been that good.
Yeah.
I'm fine with Creed Humphrey.
Right guard, James Daniels.
Really?
He has
I know he had a good grade, yeah.
Highest Pro Football Focus run blocking grade to the first 4 games of this season. Now, he only played like 3 snaps last week.
Yeah, I'm saying obviously the injury, it's over, but you know.
Yeah.
It's a shame. I mean,
it's a shame.
He's had a good year.
Yeah, he was playing well.
He wouldn't have been at the tip of my tongue as the best right guard in the league, but
you might see the guy that's playing there this week once again, might be that guy. It might be Martin. Zach Martin.
I mean, he's always right there.
Yeah. Right tackle, Lane Johnson.
He was really missed the day he missed last week. He's awesome. He's going to the Hall of Fame. Penny Sewell's still good, too.
Yeah. I'd probably go with Penny Sewell. Mm-hmm. That's just me. Edge defenders, Aiden Hutchinson.
I'd do Aiden and Watt.
I think. TJ Watt.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, it can't be Parsons. It wouldn't be Garrett or Bosa for me over Watt this year. I'm fine with that. Hutchinson's been really good.
Yeah. Interior defensive lineman. Dexter Lawrence.
Yes.
And Cam Hayward.
Yes.
Cam Hayward's 15 total pressures are tied for 6th among interior defensive linemen this year, while his 85.3 run defense grade is the best at the position.
I bet his run defense is as good as anybody.
He's just throwing guys around in run defense.
He's been phenomenal this year.
Yeah.
Again, Nelson's a really good player, and Hayward was better.
Yeah. Linebacker. Fred Warner.
I'd say Warner.
That's
wouldn't be Roquan.
Quincy Williams.
Yeah. I mean, he gets overshadowed by his brother, but he's been good in a Jets uniform start to finish.
Yeah.
Makes a lot of plays, covers a lot of ground.
I don't know how that one happens. How do you have one brother who is a monster, like 6'5" and 320 pounds,
Yeah.
and then little brother's like 6'1", 235?
Well, you met Cam Hayward and his brother, right?
That's true.
We just talked about one of them.
It makes me think of that
right.
every time I see them. I'm like, those two are brothers. Like, how is one that much bigger?
There's a couple walking on the Steelers facility.
Yeah.
Similar.
The Pouncey twins are like exactly the same. I've seen them both side by side. They look identical to a T.
Yes.
Like,
I mean, the Watt brothers don't all look the same.
That's true.
You know,
That's
the Bosas do.
Just strange.
I thought what you were going to say with that
amazes
was
me when that happens, though.
How do the Jags let that guy get out of the building?
I don't know.
You know,
that's
to
why
go
they're the
hang with his
Jags.
brother, right?
Yeah.
It's such a Jaguar thing to do, right?
At cornerback, Christian Benford from Buffalo.
I haven't studied him, but everyone's raving about him. I'm sure it's a PFF thing.
Yeah. And DJ Reed from the Jets.
I think Surtain's been great, even though Pickens got the better of him.
Yeah.
Surtain, to me, is the best corner in the league.
To me, the guys who follow number one wide receivers, Surtain,
So much harder.
Joey Porter, Terrell.
Those two don't do that.
No.
I mean, the Jets, even though they have Sauce, are a left-right team.
Yeah. And I mentioned yesterday what Dante Jackson's stats were.
Yeah.
Opposing quarterbacks have a 45 passer rating against him this season. Like, and nobody's talking about it.
No, it's been really good. Steelers in general have been awesome against outside corner or against outside receivers, which is Porter and Jackson.
Right.
You know, I mean,
yeah.
Slot's a little bit of a totally different story, but that's also an
asked
undrafted.
Somebody asked me today on the feed on our YouTube page, what's Cam Sutton's role when he comes back?
Plug him right in.
He will be the slot.
Yeah, there's the dam's starting to break a little bit at that position.
Yeah. Safety. Xavier McKinney.
I got no problem with that. He's been a difference maker. They paid him, and he's playing a lot. Good.
Deshaun Elliott.
Really?
Yeah.
3 Steeler defenders.
How about
out
that?
of 11.
Yeah. How about that?
He's been a great
he's been
addition.
Really good.
I mean, I don't think he's better than Minka, but I could understand him having a better grade by the way they do things. You know,
He's
that
been
would
really good. He has a 91.3 run defense grade.
really.
I mean, he's been outstanding.
He really has. Huh. I'm glad he got credit.
Yeah.
I don't think he's one of the best 2 safeties on the planet.
No,
I mean,
but
he's having a very, very good
Yeah.
year, and it's been a phenomenal addition.
And people are acting like Minka's having a bad year. He's doing what's being asked of him on the back end of the defense while Elliott is up in the box.
Yeah.
Minka on the back end. And again, somebody, well, he doesn't have any tackles for a loss. Show me a free safety who's playing 25 yards off the line of
Pretty hard
scrimmage
to do.
who has tackles for a loss. But Elliott does because, again, Minka allows him to be up in the box to make those plays.
So I don't know exactly. I definitely don't know exactly how PFF grades. But I have a pretty good idea because actually my co-host, Brian Peacock, did that like 10 years ago, and he was getting in on the bottom floor. And it's something along the lines, I'm sure they've tweaked it, like every play you either get a plus, a minus, a +2, or a -2, something along those lines. I bet most of Minka's plays are just zeros. You know, like they're not pluses or minus because he's just not involved. He's roaming around in deep middle, making life easier for everybody else. Right. And safeties are hard to evaluate. Like college safeties, there's a lot of tape you got to watch to even find meaningful stuff.
Yeah, that's just the way it is. Even the play he got flagged on for last week was a hell of a play by Minka
Fitzpatrick. Covers a lot of ground, right?
Like if Donnie Mitchell catches that ball, Fitzpatrick was going to dislodge it.
Yes. And boy, he could have blasted.
He could have
him, too.
just blasted him into the stands. You know, as fast as he was coming.
Like, frankly, I know this sounds dirty, and maybe it is, but I mean, hey, if I knew him getting a flag, you might as well make it count.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
They were going to throw a penalty on that. He could have crippled him.
He could have destroyed him, right?
20 years ago, that would have been what happened.
Jack Tatum, or if this was Cowboys Steelers of the 70s,
Ryan Clark
right.
In those days. That's a play that the free safety is just going to kill a wide receiver.
Yes, I mean ask Lynn Swann what he thinks of that. Or Jack Tatum.
By the way, Minka Fitzpatrick not fined for that play.
Well, that would have been criminal. Yeah. That would have been criminal. I mean, because he's clearly not intending to hurt somebody.
No, he was trying to pull up. Like you're running full speed. He's trying to like come off of that, and you just.
I mean, I understand why that flag comes out. I mean, I think it gets thrown more often than not. Do I agree with it?
Somebody in New York, though, because we've seen this already in games that I have been at. For example, there was a mark on Sunday in the Colts game, and I'm in the press box, and there was a punt, and initially the back judge marked it at the 20.
Okay.
And I'm like, oh, that was much farther.
Yeah,
They kicked it completely out of bounds. When we came back from the break, because there was a commercial break, they'd moved the ball back out to the 25. Because somebody in New York called him and said, hey, that's a bad spot. You gotta move that back. So why?
And that's going to be a tough spot. I mean, you're on the sideline, like, where'd I go?
You're watching what the gunners are doing, make sure nobody's holding. You're not looking up to see where the ball's at.
You need like a third eye. Yeah.
I don't understand why New York doesn't call them and say, hey, that's incidental.
I think it was Gene Steratore was on the coverage said, I don't think that's a flag. Yeah.
I mean, that's a 15-yard penalty.
I get it. I know. And the thing is, though, I'm not fighting you, but if it had been the other way around, we wouldn't even be talking about it still. I mean, it's just it happens almost every.
I'm going to call what's fair, and in that situation, I didn't think that was a fair penalty.
I 100% agree.
I've had some other stuff that's happened when the Steelers have been the benefit. I'm like, I didn't think that was pass interference, or I didn't. It just.
I just think that flag comes out in that instance more than it doesn't in this league. Do I agree with it?
Because
no.
it was
would I thrown it? No.
Because it was a big collision.
Because it's scary and it's
Anytime there's a big collision, the flags automatically come out.
I know, and I hate it.
I think sometimes you have to use your head with some of this stuff. It was like the roughing the passer call that the Steelers benefited from on their first possession. Do I think that's a penalty-worthy play? No, I don't.
No, right.
But in today's NFL, it is.
It is. That's my point on both of them.
Yeah.
Right. I mean,
I don't.
If we want to see less laundry, let that stuff go. Yeah. Right. You can't let the pre-snap stuff go.
Yeah.
You can't let the roughing the quarterback stuff go.
Yeah.
But that stuff, let them play.
We got one more. We got a couple more players here. So the flex cornerback, flex defensive back, I should say, Marlon Humphrey.
I was going to mention him with the corners. I think he's had a great year.
The rest of their secondary, however, is not good.
Hamilton is.
Well,
I mean, he kind of is near the
there are other coverage
guy, right?
guys. Yeah.
No, right.
Kicker, Brandon Aubrey.
That'd be Aubrey or Boz.
Here's what I don't get. Aubrey has earned a 94.7 field goal grade thus far this season.
How do you give a field goal
Boswell's
grade?
only miss was from 62 freaking yards.
Right.
He has five kicks of 50 or more yards.
Yeah.
How is his grade not better than 94.7?
Yeah.
Aubrey also has missed a kick.
Exactly. As I say,
and I'll bet it wasn't 62 yards. And he's kicking outdoors.
I say, how do you give a field goal grade, period?
I don't know. That's kind of my point.
Like, it better not be, well, he missed two more wide than the next guy.
It wasn't
or
right down the
runs it
center.
down the middle. Like,
I mean, come on.
How different is this than your field goal percentage?
Boz,
I mean, they're both awesome. I mean, they both have one miss.
But how does one I don't know where Aubrey's miss is from, but I'll bet it wasn't 62 yards.
I think it was like 51 or something like that.
How does he have a better grade than Boswell?
It's not like he's
who is kicking
a ton
outdoors.
of 60s. Well, that part's impressive, too.
Aubrey's kicking indoors.
There has to be a kicker that hasn't missed this year, either.
Yeah.
I mean, why isn't that?
How do they have
how do they have a below 100 grade or whatever then?
Punter. J.K. Scott of the Chargers.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine. Do they have a returner?
Kick returner, Kevontae Turpin of the Cowboys.
Got a lot of opportunities.
There you go.
That's the whole key.
And
he's been good.
Yeah, he's been good. And Jelani Taivai is the special teams player. from the Patriots.
Okay. I have
gets
no opinion on
a
any
lot
of
of
those.
opportunities because there are
I'm
a
sure
lot
he
of
runs
punts.
down on punts a lot. Not as many kickoffs. Right. Probably is on a lot of kickoffs.
He has a 90.8. He's played 39 snaps with 38 coming on punt coverage.
Yeah, they punt a lot. There you go.
38 punts in 4 games.
Neat opportunity.
That's a lot.
That's the thing. I mean, just like kickoff returners.
Yeah.
Well, Patterson might be the best kickoff returner in the league,
Ever.
but you never know.
Yeah,
right.
you won't know because
hasn't
nobody's
touched
going to
the
kick
ball
it to
yet.
him.
Right.
All right, let's get to a break. He is the Matt Williamson. I am Dale
Steelers
Lally.
are well represented, though.
Yeah,
James
absolutely.
Daniels and,
Elliott.
Elliott, yeah. Nice.
Absolutely. We're going to get to a break. He is Matt Williamson. I'm Dale Lally. You're listening to The Drive here on the Steelers Audio Network. And we are back. I'm Dale Lally. He is the Matt Williamson. And I just looked up the kick that Brandon Aubrey missed last week at MetLife Stadium outdoors.
Outdoors, yeah. Night game.
51 yards.
Yep.
Child's play for Buffalo.
Nothing to it. I do think they're the best 2 kickers in the league.
Yeah, I would agree with you.
And that could be a factor on Sunday.
Yeah. And,
Aubrey does some crazy stuff. And Boz is unbelievable.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, they've both been really good and can't argue that. But I don't know how Aubrey's field goal
I don't think get a better grade, but whatever,
better.
Right.
That doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. But.
No, I don't have any clue how they come up with that number, nor do I really care at this point, to be honest with you. Field goal percentage and where you miss from is pretty much all I need to know, and weather.
Yeah. So we have 60 senior members of the former,
Hall of Fame, right?
former NFL players who made it to the list for the Pro Football Hall of Fame class of 2025. Have some Steelers among it. They narrowed that down from a list of 182 nominees.
So you can nominate anybody.
Anybody could be nominated.
Yeah.
So the quarterbacks: Ken Anderson, Charlie Connerly, Roman Gabriel, Jack Kemp, Jim Plunkett.
Kind of rooting for Anderson, not against Steelers, but I
Yeah.
think he should have been in already.
Jim Plunkett also won 2 Super Bowls.
He's the only one I think that has not gotten in that has 2 Super Bowl wins.
that has been eligible to be in.
Yeah,
Eli will see.
Yeah, right. That's actually been up.
At running back, Alan Amiche, Otis Anderson, Larry Brown, Roger Craig, Chuck Foreman, Uniontown native, Cecil Isbell, and Paul Tank Younger.
I always thought Craig had a pretty good shot whenever he was, or a pretty good case when he was eligible for the normal. I don't know how you call that, but he was way ahead of his time as a receiver in the early '80s on Super Bowl team.
Yeah, wide receivers and tight ends. That's how they lump them together here. Mark Clayton, Isaac Curtis, Boyd Dowler, Henry Ellard, Harold Jackson, Billy White Shoes Johnson, Stanley Morgan, Art Powell, Sterling Sharp, and Otis Taylor.
None of those really stand out to me like the other positions, but Sharp was unbelievable. It's just such a short stretch.
It was a short stretch, and yeah.
I mean, too short.
I mean, if you're going to, Lewis Lips was,
Yeah. I mean, Sharp might have been the best receiver in the league
Yeah.
for a while, though.
At offensive lineman, Ed Boudet, Ox Emerson. How about that name?
Don't know him.
Bill Fralick, Chris
I thought
Hinton.
Fralick was already in.
No, he's in the college football Hall of
Yeah,
Fame.
well, yeah.
Chris Hinton, Joe Jacoby.
I think he's got a chance.
Mike Ken, Bob Kuchenberg, George Coons, Ralph Neely, Dick Schafarth. I'm not
That
familiar
sounds
with
like
him.
a made-up guy.
Jim Tyre and Al Wistert.
Jacoby and Fralick. I thought Fralick was in.
Yeah.
Fralick was awesome. Did he not play long?
Um,
I thought he played at least 10 years or so.
yeah.
Jacoby would be the third one off that Hogs line.
How about this defensive line group? L.C. Greenwood.
I think he's got a chance. Yeah.
Ed Too Tall Jones.
Definitely has a chance.
Jim Marshall.
Yeah.
These guys are like Harvey Martin.
These are all legit dudes.
These are all legit
right.
dudes. That,
Right.
Maybe you might want to put. I mean, you talk about the Steelers, and of course the Steelers play Cowboys this week. The Steelers/Cowboys of the '70s, like
All the Hall of Famers, right?
yeah, and people are being like, no more from these teams.
I think that hurts Greenwood and Martin and Too Tall. And
even Jim Marshall. Like Jim Marshall went to 4 straight Super Bowls.
Yeah. He was a Purple People Eater.
Yeah. Leslie O'Neal
He was really good, too.
Yeah.
I think he had 100 sacks.
and Bill Stanfield.
Okay, I don't know about Bill.
Linebackers: Carl Banks, Maxie Bond, Bill Berge, Joe Fortunato, Larry Grantham, Leroy Jordan, Clay Matthews, Tommy Nobis, Andy Russell made the cut. Pat Swilling, and Phil Villapiano.
Nobis was really
We're
good.
playing at Villapiano's this weekend down by the airport. You know what movie that is?
No.
Oh, that thing you do.
I've not seen
Playing at
that.
Villapiano's out by the airport. A little group in Erie that hits it big with one-hit wonders.
Okay.
They're actually called the Wonders. There you go.
I know what you're talking
Tom
about.
Hanks
That sounds
movie.
great.
It's a good movie.
Okay.
Yeah,
I don't
check
doubt
out.
it. I don't love the linebacker crop. D-line's stronger.
Defensive backs. Dick Anderson, Deron Cherry, Pat Fisher, Lester Hayes, Albert Lewis, Eddie Medore, Lamar Parrish, and Everson Walls.
It's hard not to like Lester Hayes, even though he was a Raider. He was nasty, stick-em dripping all over him.
Cheated.
Oh,
Stick 'em.
Well, it was loud back then.
Yeah, you just
Just
caked
gobbed
it and
on
stuff.
him. Right.
Special teams. If this guy makes it, I am going to scream at the top of my. If he makes it over some of these other, we've had this.
There's some
discussion
quality
before.
ones you've mentioned. Yeah.
Steve Tasker.
I was going to say
Get
that
outta here.
has to be his turn. To get.
Nothing against Steve Tasker. He is was a great special teams player.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
But the Bills didn't play him on offense for a reason. And if he was that good of a special teams player, maybe they'd have made him a defensive back.
Right.
Like
these core special teamers
Cornelius
play
Bennett's not on here anywhere, and he was a much more,
Yeah.
you know.
I mean, he played 10 snaps a game, probably.
Yeah.
I bet he's a pick.
Shane Conlon isn't on here. Shane Conlon was a bigger cog on those Buffalo's defense.
Ruben Brown.
Yeah.
I mean, right, like legit
on.
every down players. I bet Taxers would be the pick
Oh, my head would spin.
because this is an easy way to sneak him in without taking away from a Eli or somebody
That's a
like
bunch
that.
of BS if that happens.
I'm with you. I would not. There's 10 names there. I'm
at least,
very comfortable
At least
with.
10 to a dozen guys who should be in the Hall of Fame off of this list who aren't.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
And he's definitely not one of them.
He's not one of them. No.
Right.
Yeah.
There's 10 names there. If that's the pick, I'll be like, good. He finally got in.
Ken Anderson or,
right,
Steve Tasker. Come on.
Bill Fralick.
Roman Gabriel
I mean, come on,
or
right.
Steve Tasker. Come on.
Yeah, not even close.
That's just two of the quarterbacks. You know,
Again, Bill Fralick or LC or
Yeah.
Too Tall or right.
it's ridiculous. But anyways, Matt, hopefully it's good news for Andy Russell and, LC Greenwood making the cut.
I think LC has a better chance of the two.
Probably, but, Andy Russell was really good.
Really good.
Yeah, really good.
He was like the only good player Chuck Noll inherited almost.
Not quite.
I mean, but
Ray Mansfield was there. Yeah.
right.
There were some guys there, but Russell, when you talk about the defense, he was the team captain.
Mm-hmm.
He was he was the other linebacker with Ham and Lambert,
Right.
and
Ham and Lambert were rookies, and you don't think of them ever being young and not knowing what they're doing.
Russell
but
was the
he
guy.
was the guy who was older,
Yeah.
right?
So
And Mansfield and Webby would you get the first quarter, I get the second quarter, you get the third quarter, I get the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
Because he was a really good player, but then who's this Webster character? Are we going to keep him off the field?
yeah. So, anyways, that's going to do it for the show today. Good luck to all those men. It's a shame that I think only one can make it.
I think one make it. That one year they put 10 in.
No, they'll have three senior finalists for possible selection. So could be three, as many as three.
Oh, it doesn't go from 3 to 1. It goes 3 and between 1 and 3.
Then the voters get to vote on those three guys. Once
Okay.
they narrow it down.
Prediction: Tasker's going to be one of those 3. That's my prediction.
I won't like that.
No, doesn't mean he's going to get in. I think he'll be one of the finalists.
Oof.
Yuck.
Anyways, for my partner, Matt Williamson, for Justin Miller here on site, keeping us on the air, and for Tyler Vittmeyer, making sure our video is pretty on your TV or your laptop or wherever you're watching. Maybe you're watching on your phone. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm Dale Lally. We appreciate you listening to this edition of The Drive on the Steelers Audio Network.
Steelers football happens here. The Pittsburgh Steelers Audio Network.